So I'm actually in the camp that we do see a little bit of a bounce in January in the 10-year yield that may help correct the market in terms of pulling the market back in if we start to say, uh-oh, what's going on? I also talked yesterday about the dollar. The dollar decline is a kind of a concern to me. We are seeing certain commodities making new 52-week or all-time highs. So there are signs, again, that inflation may be stalling at this 3% level, and we'll get some big economic news in 2024 that will guide us in that direction. But again, if we see inflation kind of stall around 3%, you can bet your you-know-whats that we're not going to see what the market's pricing in right now, which is 175 basis points in cuts next year. Maybe 50, maybe 100. I don't think 175. I don't think inflation's going to be low enough, because if you look, by the way, if you look at the inflation rate of what happened in the 1970s, it was exactly this. And I showed you this before. Inflation came down after the initial pop. Everyone claimed victory. They said, oh my gosh, we've beaten inflation. Even the Fed said that. And by the way, the Fed's kind of saying that now too. And what did they do? They kind of lowered rates and made monetary policy too easy, too fast. And you know what happened? We had a second move up in rates like that before they finally came back in. And that's the bigger concern right now for me. And if you look at where we are, this is like where we are at the point. We're like right here following this exact path on the 10-year or on the yields, right? And so the question, or I should say on inflation. So the question then remains is, are they going to make the same mistakes as what we saw in the early period of the 70s or in the mid-70s, and ultimately lower rates too quickly at the first sign of fear in the markets and the economy? And do we have another leg up of inflation to follow that same path? So these are little things that we want to pay attention to.
Hi, crypto friends. Crypto Street is back with the Christmas gifts, the most mind-blowing crypto scoop to light up your screens. Like no other. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. The drama is reaching new heights. Is the Bitcoin bull party over, or are we gearing up for an epic comeback? Bitcoin recently had a heart-pounding rally, but the bulls couldn't keep the party going. Bears swooped in for a piece of the action, creating a descending trend. Are we in for a crypto winter, or is this just a pit stop? The charts are telling tales. Lower highs and lows are popping up, and that $44,800 peak, not even a test. The charts are painting a bearish picture, especially with bear volume hitting a 2-day peak. The BTC price dropped below the EMA 20, sounding the bear alarm. Brace yourselves, a correction might be knocking on the crypto door. But wait, there's a twist in the tale. Despite the gloomy clouds, analyst Michael Van de Poppy sees a silver lining. He's talking about a potential cap at $48,000 to $52,000, a little choppy action, and a new all-time high in late 2024. Is this the calm before the crypto storm? The SEC, the regulatory bigwigs, are making moves. Rumor has it they're about to give a nod to several spot Bitcoin ETFs. This could be a game changer. It's like crypto's coming out party in the mainstream financial system. If the SEC gives the green light, it's a win for the bulls and a green flag for investors. Bitcoin ETFs getting the SEC's thumbs up. It's like a superhero entrance for cryptocurrencies into mainstream finance. Investors can dive into the Bitcoin market without the crypto complexities. This move screams adoption and could bring a surge of new players into the game. The SEC might just be the hero Bitcoin needed. Mark Cuban, a Shark Tank star and the billionaire owner of the NBA team Dallas Mavericks, says the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, doesn't protect anyone, calling the regulator the QuickBooks of financial regulation. He stressed that the Howey test isn't enough to cover every crypto situation. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has named JP Morgan as a lead authorized participant for its spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund ETF. This followed JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon stating in a congressional hearing that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are used primarily for criminal purposes and that he would close down crypto if he were the government. Now let's continue our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
Now let's get into some random charts here. I got to show you this chart, guys. This is one of my favorite charts. I remember talking about it in the game plan not long ago at all. One of them was 3M, and I kept on talking to you guys about 3M, how you literally were at multi-decade lows on 3M's price. And look at this chart, guys. This is one of my favorites here. Take a look at this. So remember, and again, some of you guys are new viewing. That's awesome. You know, there are going to be charts that I nail dead on. A majority I will. There will be charts that I'm off on. That's just the nature of what I do, right? Probabilities, everything to do with charts is analyzing the charts based on what I know, and then that puts probabilities in our favor, but probabilities don't guarantee 100%. The whole idea of probability is not 100%, right? So again, we look at this. This was one of my good calls here. Look at the bounce that we started to see. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I still think there's more upside in 2024 on this stock, 3M. Good quality company, pays a great dividend. I do think at some point you'll see a rotation out of the lofty tech valuations into more names like this. And look at also this. Look at where I was talking about it bottoming, right in here, that long-term trend line, but then also look at the channel, right? We had this beautiful channel right down here, parallel line with parallel line, and then you've gotten this bounce. Now, listen, to be honest, I don't think this is a buy right now. This is not something I would be jumping in at these levels right here. You might say, well, why not? Well, because if you go to your daily chart, the daily chart, flipping over to that, look at the move up it's had. So I never like to do this. One of the reasons why I've been successful in trading is I don't chase. If something, and you can ask the live trading room, you can ask verified investing alerts, you can ask all these guys. I don't buy stuff after it's bounced. Even if I think it's going higher, I don't chase, because that ultimately conditions you to do that over and over. You start to chase more and more, and before you know it, you're the person buying Bitcoin at 69,000, right? So you don't want to be that person. So I'm the person buying down here, right? When it looks ugly, when everyone else is hating on it, when everyone else is saying this is crap, oh my God, it's going to crash, I'm like, you know what? Rationality, let's bring the logic into the picture, which is what charts give us, and then you can see the move up. Now, would I buy this if we put in a cup and handle pattern? So let's say we trade something like this for a little while. Yes, that's the opportunity, your cup and handle pattern or some sort of pullback in between. All right, another stock, and I was just talking about rotation away from technology in 2024. I do think that the AI story is going to sputter out in 2024. I think that margins for names like NVIDIA and so on and so forth are going to start to contract. And ultimately, I do think, again, where the safety is probably more in the 3Ms. I'm going to show you the Disney chart in just a minute. And by the way, there's no judgment on Disney. It's just a chart to me. Everything's a chart to me. Couldn't care less what the company does. Doesn't matter. But the point is here on this chart of Microsoft is look at the bear flag that continues to build. This is a classic bearish consolidation pattern, right? Look at this. Look at that flag pattern right there. That tells me that the probabilities, and again, remember guys, probabilities, even the best traders in the world are going to be 80% success at best, right? It's right around that level, which means 20 times out of 100 you're wrong. That's okay. We want to be the casino, not the gambler. That's what we are doing here. All right, so here you have the flag pattern. The probabilities dictate the next move is to the downside. Now, how low? Who knows? Maybe a measured move from this point to this point. You add that to the breakdown, it gives you somewhere in this level. But again, that is a classic bearish pattern on the chart of Microsoft. Okay? Now, just going, I mentioned Disney real quick here. The reason why Disney's interesting to me is because, first of all, and Dr. B, you guys know, you know him. He's talked about these falling wedges and so on and so forth. I'll let him go into that in an educational piece at some point. But look at this wedge pattern and then look at the breakout on Disney. And what I'm focusing in on in early 2024 is this pattern right here, right? What type of pattern is this, guys? To me, that's a little bit of a flag pattern developing. And so again, my point is that yes, in general, I think the markets are going to decline in 2024. I don't know how much, but in general, if someone asked me, do you think the markets will be higher by the end of next year or lower? I would say lower. But that doesn't mean there won't be interim opportunities to swing trade on the long side. You know, you never, as an investor, want to be a perma bull or perma bear. You have to be looking at charts both on the long and short side. And in this case, this one looks like it's consolidating after this little breakout right here, and the next move could be to the upside in January or February. Another good dividend stock paying decent, returns in that respect. All right, now one stock that I think is an interesting short here is going to be McDonald's early in the year. And the reason I say that is, number one, this is the weekly chart. The weekly chart has an insane amount of green straight-up candles. If we zoom into this, I mean, look at this. Look at this move to the upside. Now, interestingly enough, you have a little tail here, right? And you can see the two trend lines converging in this realm. And so if I zoom back out, what we can see is these two trend lines. All right, so again, let's go back here and we draw on the chart, going from the COVID low down here to these lows here, right through here. And where are we hitting right now? Right there. Or if you take this high to this high, we briefly went above it, then came back in, but they converge right there. So I think you're looking at a pullback on McDonald's in early 2024, maybe the first month or two. It's hard to pinpoint the exact time frame.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.